Hi there, it's time for some practice on formal proofs. So try to figure out this formal proof. Pause your videos now and see if you can complete the answer here. Okay, that was your chance to pause your videos. We're gonna talk about how to do this thing now. In order to do this proof, you only need the easy rules. So we're not even getting into disjunction elim or negation intro yet. You just need the 4 or 5 easy rules that we've been talking about. So this is what I wanted to do first. The first thing I'm going to do is put my premise up here on line 1 and justify it with this with the word premise. Now I have to figure out what kind of progress I can make. What I do is I look at the main connective. So you have to be able to parse a sentence and tell what connective is main here. And it happens to be these negations out front. Since there's 2 of them, that tells me I can apply my negation elim rule to it. So that's how I inferred line 2. I just looked at my main connective and applied the rule for the main connective. Now what I do is I just repeat that process. I look at the main connective again, which happens to be this wide scope conjunction. So what am I going to do? I'm going to bring down the conjuncts. I just chose to bring down the second one first, but you could do this in multiple different orders. You could have brought down the P if you wanted first. Maybe that's not going to be the shortest way to do the proof, but it still is going to be correct as long as every line the justification of every line checks out properly and you actually get to the final conclusion. Now that I have a new sentence here, this conjunct, I look at my main connective of this. It's 2 negation symbols, so I'm just going to apply negation elim again. You cannot remember, this is different than double negation. When I apply negation elim, it does not allow me to cross off all these double negations. It only allows me to do it for the one that's the main connective. That's why I did just 2 here. And that's, again, when I'm here, I can only do the front 2. Once I get down to this sentence, eventually I'm going to get to do these 2, but not yet, because look, my main connective now is a conjunction again. So I have to first apply conjunction elim. And this is where I bothered to bring down both of them, because I actually need both of these conjuncts. So I brought down the not Q and I brought down the R because they're both going to be useful. How do you know that they're going to be useful? You always need to pay attention to your premise and your conclusion, because your conclusion is like your destination. If you don't look at where you're going, how are you ever going to eventually get there? You have to look down at your conclusion at some point or other to get some guidance. Okay, now, so at this point, you might have noticed a couple of things. One is I still have some main connectives of Q that I could operate on. So I could do double negation elim on that again. Now, if that didn't occur to you, what you want to do is look down at your conclusion and ask yourself how you can start building this thing up. See, I just have R here alone, so I've already got the R part. That means since this is a conjunction, I need to build this thing up. And since it's a disjunction, I need to either prove T or I need to prove this other disjunct. And then I finally notice, oh, look, there's a Q in here. So this tells me I figured out how I'm going to eventually build it. I need to first get Q alone, then I need to build up not P or Q with my disjunction intro rule. This is where you have to be careful. When I use disjunction intro, there's many different disjunctions I could write. I could write Q and Q or P. I could write Q or not P. I could write Q or R or S. There's all sorts of things I could write. Which one is the right thing to write depends upon my conclusion, my destination, what I'm trying to do. Whenever you apply disjunction intro, all the disjuncts are going to be of the same scope line. So I could apply disjunction intro and write not P or Q or T. This is a valid inference. What is not valid is this one in red. I am not allowed to write this because this is putting 2 different disjunctions in here of different scoping. And this is disallowed. Whenever I add disjunctions, they're all going to be of the same scope line with one application of the rule. But notice my conclusion. There's scoping in my conclusion, and I have to build that up, that means, in successive stages. That's why I first built this inner disjunct alone here, because now I can just apply the rule again to get this one. So the scoping of my goal, my conclusion, is what tells me how to build it up and in what process to take. Once I've got that thing, now that's this side, and so I can just put that together with R, and I'm going to be done. So conjunction intro was my final rule. So it turns out this is 10 lines is the shortest number that you could possibly do this in. So hopefully that's what the answer you got. Again, if it took you more than 10 lines, that's okay. The real goal here is just being able to justify every line correctly and getting to your proof. So if it took you 11 lines or 20 lines, it still counts as a good formal proof. Okay, thanks.